The Chusky Boys!
This is Chad with Hemlock. What does a Chusky Boy looks like?
Chusky Boys, what's that?
Chusky Boys, not to be confused with Husky Boys.
The Chusky Boys.
I believe y'all guys are listening to the Chusky Boys.
This is William Duvall, and you are listening to the Chusky Boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is episode 17 of the Chusky Boys. Dusty, I don't know how we keep doing it, man. We just keep going. Every week, we got something new, man. Every week.
Hey, that's all me, actually, but
that's
we'll
true.
cut that
That's
part
true.
out.
You book them, we interview them, we have a good time. This week is absolutely no different. A hometown boy/man from Rapid City, South Dakota, playing currently in the New York Yankees farm system. And now the Chusky followers know it's tough for me to say that, but regardless, from Rapid City, as a Braves fan, from Rapid City, still I got a good spot for you in my heart. Okay. We got Mr. Cooper Bowman joining us this evening. How are you, Cooper?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We love talking a little baseball. Now, the unfortunate thing right now with baseball is this lockout, and so I say we jump right into that, and then we'll get into the more fun stuff. But how, as a minor league player in the Yankees affiliate or any team for that matter, as a minor leaguer, what does this mean to you? What does this lockout do for you?
To be honest, it doesn't really do a whole lot to me. So we're still here. We're practicing every day. We start spring training in 3 or 4 days. Our season starts on time no matter what. I didn't realize it until I got here, but apparently minor league baseball and major league baseball are two totally separate seasons, I suppose. Like, just because they don't play doesn't mean we don't play.
That's crazy. I had no idea, because I seen Papa John's was like on Twitter was saying any minor league guys affected by this will put you on daily contracts for work. So that doesn't affect you guys then, right? I mean, there's like minor league baseball. There's like, how many different minor league baseball teams are there? Over 100 probably. Got to be over 100.
There has to be. Yeah, there has to be. I mean, there's at least 4 for every org.
Yeah. Well, that's great, man. That's awesome. I thought you'd be totally screwed. I figured maybe you'd be doing this podcast on a bus driving through Alabama right now or something, way back to South Dakota.
Man, thank goodness I'm not. That's a long drive, 30 hours. Oh, geez. But no, besides that part of the lockout, I basically know them as much as the average Twitter follower does. I mean, we don't get a whole lot of or any inside info on that, I suppose. So we kind of just do our own thing, and we're kind of just waiting on the big leaguers to show up to camp because we all want to see them, obviously.
Well, not to mention, I mean, everybody's goal, of course, is to get to the big show. You're AAA or AA and single A, whatever. The goal is to progress and to get into the. So that does stop some movement, I suppose, a little bit. But for you, in your case, what you're saying is spring training starting, nothing's different. Just when I'm not playing, I can't watch the Yankees play, right?
Yeah. I mean, it'd probably be different if I was a few years in, or if I was an older guy and I was, on the cusp of AA, AAA. And, maybe those guys who were thinking of hopefully making their debut this year, it could mess them up a little. Especially dudes that maybe just got put on the 40-man roster because they can't even show up right now, But for the rest of us, no, it's kind of business as usual.
Which that's good. That's good to hear. So to separate the business to more personal, and as a fan, like, what does this do for you? Like, what I got my thoughts and what frustrates me. And I just think it's, multiple people who make tons of money, either the owners or the players, of course, just can't figure it out. And of course, now it's going to impact the fans and the stands and all that stuff for years to come, just like back in '94.
Yeah. I mean, that I think that's the toughest part, is like everyone else is without Major League Baseball, and is as exciting and fun as minor league baseball is. It's, you're not watching Tatis or Acuna or Judge go hit, and so people are definitely going to miss it, and hopefully they can come up with something soon, because, I mean, I miss it and I'm not even a part of it.
Out of the whole deal, what frustrates me the most, man, is the fact that after the season ended, which the Braves did win the World Series.
I figured that'd come up here pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like, 3 guys from Rapid City and 2 of you are Braves fans. I'm still stuck on that. So keep going, Jared.
And no negotiations. The negotiations started a couple weeks ago, I think, right? Was it like 3 weeks ago? Maybe. Tons of weeks passed and nothing. It's like this power move on either side. You're just like, get it together. Cut the shit.
Yeah, I don't really know when that stuff started. Again, that's kind of where I'm at the same boat as, everyone else following Twitter, and I have no clue. And I wish I knew more about what they were talking about or what they were arguing or what the disagreements were. Yeah, it just sounds like they're not quite there yet.
Yeah. And then they put the full court press on 2 days before they're going to start, I think it's 2 series now that they're going to postpone, or no, they're just canceled.
Yeah, just 2 series canceled. Yeah. So
that's 6 games.
156 now, which for a numbers guy like me, that's really weird.
Right.
Like 81 home and away, 27 series, now it's 156, just kind of throws everything off, in my opinion, but
crazy. All right. So let's change the subject a little bit, right? We'll hopefully let them figure it out. Let the negotiators negotiate, hopefully rather quickly, because it is kind of depressing. When you think of summer, you think of baseball, MLB TV. And every year I look at going down and seeing the Atlanta Braves play in Colorado, just because it's a hop, skip, and a jump here from Rapid City. And usually I pass, and usually it pays out pretty good because usually there's like a snowstorm still in April. Yeah. I mean, Cooper, you remember those, right?
I get it.
So currently starting spring training, single A for the New York Yankees, correct?
Yep. Single A.
Originally from here in Rapid City, South Dakota, though. So kind of explain that, like where did you start? I think the little league you were at was Canyon Lake, correct?
Yeah, man. I was at Canyon Lake. I played under Steve Nolan. I know a lot of people in Rapid know the Nolan family. Played under him and just went to ponies after that. Took 2 years. Most people took, none or one, maybe. I took 2 and then went up to post and kind of just went from there, I suppose. Was trying to obviously make the varsity roster as a 16-year-old-ish. Kind of got up, kind of got down a little. And then I would say I really sprouted my 17-year-old years, kind of when everything started changing.
Is that when you were dedicated shortstop then?
Yeah, I got it my 16-year-old year, but I was hitting like 250. Man, I was too small to be out there. I was probably 5'8", buck 50, playing against 18, 19-year-olds. And I just wasn't there. So that offseason, I really got into the weight room, really kind of started to work on my body and everything, and then finally made the jump the year after.
When you made that jump the year after, what was your average then, do you think, roughly?
I'm not sure. I know it was over 100-point difference, though.
So is that when you thought maybe I could probably play baseball beyond post 22?
Yeah, I think, we had this tournament in Washington. We went up there my junior year, and I just remember there was a Washington State, Gonzaga, Minnesota, Hawaii were all a couple schools that were just going to be there in general, not just for me. And I just happened to have a good first 2 days, rough last 3. And the only one that ended up offering actually was Hawaii. And so, that sounds amazing to a kid from Rapid City, South Dakota, who's trying to get, trying to get out of the snowstorms and warming up your car at 7 a.m. So I was all about it. Committed there probably 6 months later after visiting and checking it out. And then it really got crazy, had a good senior year. And the hitting coach ended up leaving, I want to say June or maybe May of my senior year.
For a post or for Hawaii? For
Hawaii.
I see.
Yep, for Hawaii. And so I'm still playing at post. Now I have no connection with the staff at Hawaii. Kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And this is where Clap came into play. He's like, well, man, what if you, go junior college, see what happens? So we started looking at those options, and Iowa Western kind of has a walk-on-ish spot for me where I get a little bit of academic money, but, no athletics. So I'm going from, kind of thinking I'm all that, going to Hawaii, to now going to Council Bluffs, Iowa for the next 2 years and running through a baseball academy basically at that point. But no, to be honest, that was probably the best decision of my entire life, because I don't know if you guys know Coach Reardon at Western. He's a Hall of Fame guy. He's been there like 20 years, just the best coach I've ever had. And that was the best 2 years of baseball I've ever had. And obviously that carried me to Louisville and so on. But without those last 2 years at post and without that coach leaving, it probably never would have happened.
Yeah, it's crazy how everything kind of happens. Yeah, everything kind of comes together, and getting some of that sage advice from Mr. Klapperich, who we did interview nonchalantly just a couple, I don't know, probably 10 episodes ago or something.
He'll be here in 10 minutes, by the way.
All right,
then.
There
you go. Good.
All right then. And
I haven't seen him in a while.
You do the junior college there. great experience. It sounds like, great move that has paid off for you. Then you make the decision do you leave that school then? Like, how'd that come into play to go play? And it's not Louisville, right, Dusty? How do you say it again?
I think it's Louisville.
So you leave.
There you go.
Do you say it? So Cooper, do you say it then like the way they say it now, like being there for 2 years, like Louisville?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to explain it to a lot of people. I say you got to say it with a fat tongue. I think that's how I think of it. It's like Louisville.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's no IE sound. I know that.
We need someone on from Louisville.
That's right. We'll get them
preferably a Chusky person. We've only had like skinny, fit people like this.
True.
Freaking minor league New York Yankee baseball player in front of us. Some Huskies.
Back to topic. Leave the junior college. So how do you get hooked up going to Louisville?
Oh man. Well, I mean, our junior college was one of the top schools in the country. Our freshman year, we lost in the national championship. So there was just a lot of attention on us. And I was just lucky enough to, lead off and play short for that team. And so my sophomore year, I kind of get a little bit of attention just from being there my freshman year in a way, not even doing anything crazy, just being a part of it. So I ended up visiting Louisville, Auburn, South Carolina, talking to a couple other schools, but kind of narrowed it down to just 3 visits. You get 5. 5 felt like a lot to me. So I just took 3 and kind of thought I could make the best decision there, and ended up being Louisville and end up going. Our season gets cut short actually that year because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I miss out on the sophomore year at Iowa Western. Head home. I head to Louisville the next fall. I'm hurt during the fall. Had to get left labrum surgery. So I'm out the whole time. But yeah, I know, right? Finally get in front of their eyes for the first time in over a year in January. Maybe December. Try to win a spot. I actually didn't start the first game of the year. I was alternating for probably 2 weeks, week and a half at second base, just playing every other, trying to get my feet wet in the ACC. But yeah, finally end up winning the job and kind of just having an all right season from there.
Right on, man.
I think an all right season's probably a little soft. A little bit better than all right. I mean, what I didn't know, I follow baseball pretty close. I'm buddies with Klapperich, who, for the record, is my neighbor. So I get to hear a lot of, stuff about you guys who go on. Your stolen bases is insane. Like your percentage of stolen bases. Where does that come from? Has that always been the case?
Man, speed's a big thing for me. I mean, I train it every day, if not every couple of days. And we do it here as an organization, actually, too. So that's something I've been doing with Scott Benson in Rapid for years now. I know he works with the Post 22 team down there with strength and conditioning. So yeah, speed's big for me, man. When you can't hit 30 pumps, you got to find another way to make an impact.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a little pop behind that bat, though, too. Huh? How many home runs did you have in Iowa?
Oh, geez, I didn't have much. I think I had 2 my freshman year, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And then a couple my sophomore year before the season got cut short. And then I had 8 at Louisville, a handful last summer.
So that transition from Rapid City baseball, Post 22 baseball, you get to Iowa and you get to Louisville. What's the biggest hurdle to overcome? Is it the speed of the other guys? Is how hard the pitchers throw? What is it?
Yeah, it's got to be the other pitchers. Just if there's one thing that Post 22 is at a disadvantage at, being where they're at, let alone all the amazing facilities and equipment and everything they have, they don't get to face the dudes going to the Power 5 schools out of high school. We got the kids throwing 88, 91 as high schoolers. They don't get to experience that in high school, so it's a rude awakening for them when they get there.
Yeah, I suppose, even when like the firecracker tournament for Post 22 happens and those kinds of things, does that bring in some pretty high caliber talent, you think, or still you're not touching what you see at the top 5?
Most definitely. And if you could do the firecracker tournament every weekend, it'd be different. But I also understand kind of how everything's ran and you just don't get many of those chances. So, I mean, I understand it based off of where we're at. And we're just not a huge baseball area, even though we're a big baseball town. I would say state or region wise, we're not the biggest area for it. So you just don't get as many chances.
Klapperich joining us. He was from an earlier podcast, right? The connection that we have with you, Mr. Cooper. Klapperich, thank you for joining us, man. How you doing?
What's up?
Not a whole heck of a lot here. I know Cooper has more to say, though. Spring training starting, you said, in 3 days?
Yeah, 3 days. And we start scrimmages here this week. I think tomorrow, actually, we'll start playing games, like 3-4 inning games, and kind of try to get rolling before the season, which I think is April 3rd or 4th this year. I think it got moved back just a little. So got about another month left.
That's crazy. So as a minor league team, do you guys all travel together? All that stuff, it's all kind of taken care of, isn't it? I mean, it's not probably the fancy accommodations, from an MLB standpoint, right? Kind of, roughing it. But how does that all work out?
Yeah, I mean, we're not flying charter everywhere we go. You know what I mean? We're not flying at all. I think from what I've heard, I think that's a AA, AAA and above kind of thing. But luckily, I don't know how it's going to be throughout the year, but I know in Tampa, every team in the league is in Florida. So the furthest you really travel is, 4 or 5 hour drive, which isn't bad because you're playing there for 6 days because we do 6-day series at this level. I don't know what every other level's like, but it really could be a lot worse.
Right on. So like you said, all the opponents you have are in the Sunshine State is what you're saying?
Yep.
Well, it works out pretty good then for you.
I mean, yeah, because Louisville, is totally different because no one's around Kentucky when you're playing in the ACC. So we had to fly or drive really far no matter where we went. I'm not a big traveler, so that's not really my thing.
Side question, completely unrelated, but something with Coach Stieg when we did him earlier for the football team. They fed those football players like crazy when it came to if they were on a flight or anything like that. They take care of you guys as a baseball team too? They're in Louisville?
We get food when we get to the hotel. I definitely wouldn't say we're catered to on the plane. We're just kind of trying to get there and get off, but we definitely get food when we get there. Yeah.
Get some rest, get ready for the game or whatever. Right on. That's cool, man.
Coop, what does it mean? So it's low A ball. So where are you at right now? Tell the audience where you're at.
So we're in low A. Well, right now we're in spring training. Last summer we were in low A, which is in Tampa, Florida. And, you got FCL, which is like rookie ball, low A, high A, double A, triple A, big leagues.
That's how okay. So it's low A, high A. So single A is low A and highway, low A, high A, which is basically single A. That's where you're going to be at your first 12 to 18 months, probably at least.
Yeah, I would say probably a year to maybe 2 at the most.
Well, and then too, Coop, and even before low A, you got rookie ball, right?
Yeah, true. So that's the FCL league I was kind of talking about. So when we got drafted last year, we flew out of Tampa the very next day, which is another totally just different story. I was actually with Clap when they called, and that was crazy. But we trained for like 3 weeks and kind of built up, and then got to play 2 FCL games, like 2 rookie ball games, before we went to low A to kind of get our feet wet.
And FCL is Florida Coast League.
Yeah,
oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Although it did not work because the FCL games went great, and then we went to Tampa, and pretty sure the 3 new draft guys went a good 0 for 40 the first week.
Get that out of the way at the FCL, right? Get those bad games taken care of, then head to where you need to be.
That's what we needed to do, but we did the exact opposite.
Gotcha. So I do want to back it up just a little bit. When did it look like you were getting drafted? What did that look like, right? It's kind of a huge deal. I think it was 4th round, 122nd pick, right? Where were you? What did that look like? Kind of relive that a little bit if you can for some of us who really, never had anything to experience like that.
Yeah, I was just at home. I had a couple close friends and a lot of family around. We actually didn't know for sure if it was going to happen. And so we kind of went into the day being optimistic, but understanding that, maybe it's not the time. I might be going back to school. And then kind of from there, it's like, okay, where am I going to play summer ball? What's the next step? And so I think I'm actually sitting right next to Clap. We're down in my basement watching the draft, and my advisor texts me. He's like, hey, 4th round of the Yankees, yes or no? Text him back, of course. Like, who's turning that down? Yeah, he calls me. I go up to the garage, take a call. And he's like, all right, man, like, sounds like it's happening, but never know, right? Like, you never know until they pick you. And so I go back downstairs. I don't tell anyone anything. I have this little foam ball in my hand. I didn't even realize I had it, though. Don't know where it came from, but I'm sitting down next to Clap, and I just remember squeezing that thing harder than ever when the Yankees pick was up next, because I was just I was so stressed. I wanted it to happen, of course, but you just never know.
Well, Coop, I remember too, like when that happened, you came from the garage and we were sitting there and everyone was like kind of thinking, but I remember you text me and we're like, dude, because you didn't want to let anyone else know. But I remember you text me and you're like, dude, I think the Yankees are going to take me. But then remember your buddy that played at Notre Dame text you and was like, oh yeah, the Yankees just told me they were going to take me too. So then we were like, I don't know who's going to go, if it's going to be Cooper or the Notre Dame guy. So then when they said his name, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, this Notre Dame kid, I went to JUCO with him, and he's a pitcher at Notre Dame. He's like 99 to 100, and he texted me saying that they were going to take him. I was just like, oh man, like.
And he didn't know that they texted you already, huh?
Yeah, he didn't know what round either. He just thought they were taking him before like the 10th, and so he ended up going in the 5th, and so it could have been 4, 5, 6, whatever.
I gotta say this too, like, so the year before, right? They had, because of COVID, it was shortened. There was only 4 rounds, right, Coop, the year before? 5. So Coop and me are talking back and forth, and they're like, the A's were thinking about taking him, and then I think the Phillies.
Yeah, the Phillies.
So, but the A's were like calling on him and things like that. So I remember we were thinking like the year before he was going to go in the 4th, and they ended up taking a pitcher from Auburn. I remember Cooper being like bummed, and I was like, dude, this might work out, man. Like, you didn't go out of JUCO, but like, you just never know how things are going to play out. Like, it didn't go this year, and I know you're bummed, but don't be like, I remember being like, dude, don't bitch about, I didn't get drafted and now I have to go play a year at Louisville. Like, there's worse tragedies in life than having to do that. And it was crazy how it worked out. Like, then everything just kind of worked out. Was going to go to Hawaii, decided that wasn't a plan, goes to Iowa Western, that works out, doesn't get drafted, goes to Louisville, has a good season, then the Yankees take him. It's like everything kind of has just been working out.
Once again, the universe working in ways it's supposed to, man. That's awesome. And it's tough. I mean, if we really kind of break down, players coming out of Rapid City, South Dakota, of course, one that comes to most of our minds is Mark Ellis, right? But other than that, there's not too many more, I think. I know there's some, but I mean, probably the biggest one that I think of, at least, is certainly Mark Ellis. Yeah.
And then, we've had Sam Wolf, he just kind of hung it up, but he was drafted and then, played for, he's 30 and just had to finally get a real job. He put his time in the minor leagues and was just a couple injuries away from really making it. He was right on the cusp. And then
he was right there.
Klebby, Tanner Klebrad went to Washington State, got drafted and made it to AA with the Orioles. But then the next in line's been Cooper, right? That's the in between. We haven't had much. So
Cooper, we talked about your steps that you went right post to, you went to JUCO, Louisville, New York Yankees got you playing down in Tampa. What's the next logical goal? Of course, playing the World Series for New York Yankees someday, right? But what's the next for people who don't follow baseball, or at least minor league baseball, like the progression? What's the next logical step for you? You're in low A ball now in Tampa. Where do you see yourself in the next 12 to 24 months?
I mean, ideally by the end of this season, I would love to be in AA. Obviously, I don't get a lot of say in any of that. And majority of it's a business move. And so we had a kid who won position player or like hitter of the year for the minor leagues this offseason. And he was in low A half of the season, high A the other half. And he was just tearing it up, hitting 300 with 30 bombs. But he never went up to AA because it's development. They're not trying to rush you. They want to send you up when you're ready and when it's the right time business wise. And so, yeah, hopefully, like, I would love to get to AA, but if I'm in high A or low A or whatever, kind of just got to not play GM and just do your job.
Where's the physical location for New York Yankees high A and AA?
High A is in Hudson Valley, New York. It's actually pretty close to the city. And then we have Somerset, which I want to say is AAA. And I think Triton's AA, but I could definitely be. No, Scranton, Pennsylvania would be AA.
Because they used to have the Trenton Thunder, and then that is now, because they have Scranton Wilkes-Barre is AAA, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. And then I think Somerset's AA.
Somerset, yeah, they're all right around. Like, once you get out of high A, though, you start moving northeast. Everything's right up in New York.
Away from the beach and up to the cold, like you're used to.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks because I won't be able to golf as much or go to the beach as much, but it's worth it.
So that brings me to the next question. You right now you're getting busy, right? Right now it's your spring training starts here in 4 days. Thank God, even though the lockout's happening with the major league guys, at least you guys can play. But when you're not playing ball, are you still in Tampa Bay? Like a month ago, what were you doing? Where were you at, and what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I was back in Rapid for a lot of this offseason. I got down to Tampa probably three weeks ago, maybe, for a little pre-spring training camp that a couple of guys were here for, which, ended up working out well because it was 5 degrees in South Dakota when I was leaving there. And that just, no one wants to warm up their car before they leave everywhere they go. That just sucks. So it could be a lot worse. But yeah, we're just hanging out here. And like I said, a couple of days spring training, and then there's going to be less beach, less golf. And season's a month away.
Right on. So home is still Rapid City. That's where, if you're not playing ball, not traveling, not doing something with the team, you're still here in Rapid.
Yeah. I'm back home a lot.
So talking about weather, so playing in Rapid City you played Rapid City many years, for our tens of thousands of listeners, they don't understand. We're not a very humid area, right? We get pretty hot. We can hit triple digits occasionally. Usually I would say in the mid 80s to high 80s, relatively low humidity. And now you're down in the southeast in Florida where it's got to be unbearable, right? What's the change like playing here in Rapid City August 15th versus down in Tampa August 15th?
Dude, there's no comparison for real. I didn't realize it until I got to Florida because I've never felt it. Even at Louisville, I didn't feel it, but I could walk out of my, room at 10 or 11 a.m., get ready to go to the field for a game, and I'll start sweating before I get to my car. And I mean, dude, it's the polar opposite of what South Dakota winters are, where you got to go warm up your car back home in the winter. You got to come down here in August and you got to go cool off your car before you drive anywhere because it's just brutal.
Yeah, quite the night and day difference for sure. I remember we went to Orlando and walking out of the airport, big boy like myself, Chusky boy, and just feeling like my skin the clothes just with all 100% humidity, right? It was like July in Orlando. I'm like, yeah, well, wasn't quite ready for this. Knew it was going to be hot, but not like this. So I can only imagine heavy. Playing ball. Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah.
Do you, when it comes to hitting and stuff like that, you think there's a difference in it when it comes to distance and those kinds of things, being that the humidity and stuff in the air?
Maybe. I suppose there could be some balls that maybe go, 30 feet over, that maybe go 5 or 10 feet over instead. But I wouldn't say it gets to the point where it really changes the outcome of the game by any means.
Yeah, nothing too dramatic.
Yeah, the worst of it is just, grounding out and running down the line, and then you're tired for the next 4 minutes because you can't catch your breath because it's so hot out.
Right. Absolutely, man. And so currently with shortstop or second base?
Second base
right now, but you did play some shortstop was it post 22?
Yep. Yeah.
Got it. So second base is your position currently. So who do you look up to? Like who, when it comes to baseball and, people who you just admire, what's kind of that short list?
I mean, like I said earlier, Dansby's my favorite player. But I don't know if I would say I look up or model anything after anyone specifically. I watch a ton of stuff. I mean, I'm going to watch a great hitter if I'm going to look up hitting videos. It's going to be like a Pujols or a Trout kind of guy. If I'm looking up fielding videos, maybe Lindor or some along those lines. But as far as modeling a game or looking up to someone, I wouldn't say there's one specific player. I just have a bunch that I like to learn from.
So I got some inside info here. I heard, I haven't seen the video proof of it, but apparently it's out there. I heard you hit a goddamn hole-in-one.
Yeah, dude, the other day. Just how I drew it up too, obviously.
I was dreaming about this. Here's how this is going to happen. Bet you a case of beer I'm about to drop this.
We were saying like a couple of weeks ago, because a bunch of us golf a lot, that we need to start videoing par threes, because just for how often we play and how many dudes we got, like someone's bound to put one in, and just got a lucky kick off a hill and it happened to roll in. I don't know. But
there's video proof of this. Like this was videotaped. Yeah. Is that what we're hearing?
Yeah, no, and that's what made me question it a little bit. Like, oh, so the one time you film, it goes in the hole and all this. I was a little bit like, I don't know, man.
You can't see it go in the hole. All you can see is I finished my follow through and I'm kind of watching it. You know how you watch it when it's good, your eyes track from the ball to the pin. So I'm doing that, and then all of a sudden I say I don't see it because the sun's kind of glaring from the right. And I'm like, oh, dude, if I just went like 30 yards long, like that's so embarrassing. So I can't say anything. So I just say I don't see it and then walk up and no ball in the green. I kind of walk behind. I don't see anything and just sitting in the hole. Guys behind us start going crazy. It was hilarious.
Oh, man, that's kind of disappointing, though, too. I mean, it's still awesome, Cooper. Don't get me wrong, dude. And I take it Klapperich wasn't there. That was not one of the days that he was golfing with you. I take it, right?
Well, he doesn't golf with me anymore anyways.
Oh, is that too good or?
Yeah, he's way too busy and good for that.
Not good enough is the real deal.
Ever since you've started playing for the Yankees, you've changed.
Ever since I started playing for the Yankees, he's been leaving me hanging.
Oh, dang.
Been too cool to hang out.
No way. We golf in a tournament in Spearfish in October. Cooper is locked in. He's pretty hard on me to get my golf game up to where he is. And I'm like, dude, I live in South Dakota. I can't golf every day. I got a wife and 2 kids. And he's like, man, I'm on the course every day getting ready. You better be ready to go. Oktoberfest.
No, for it though. Like I plan on being home.
All right, bringing it back into baseball here. What's how happy were you when the Braves won last year? This got to be your first time. I'm not a Braves historian. That's the first time since early 90s, right? So that's your
95.
first time seeing the Braves win the World Series, and you get drafted the same year. Like, what's that like?
It was neat, and I would definitely wouldn't say I'm over here, a diehard watch every game, watch all 162 games a year kind of fan. But it was neat because I do look up to a lot of those players. And like I said, Dansby's my favorite guy, no doubt. He has been since college.
Lieutenant Dan.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I got his card, like I said, sitting right here. So that's my guy. But other than that, I don't know. It was just kind of surreal to understand. Like, I'm still so far away, but I'm at least this close to being able to do something like that. I guess being a part of it now. But like I said, I'm nowhere near that. So there's a long ways to go there.
I'm kind of jumping all over the place, though. But who is the hardest guy you've ever had to bat against? Who throws the hardest against you? And let's just say it's the hardest for where you're at in your life. Like if you're a 16-year-old playing post, you're from Canyon Lake, you're in Louisville, you're down in Tampa. Who's this like guy that's like, holy shit, this guy's an animal? Like the 13-year-old with the full-blown mustache.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of those kids when you're young, but I would have to say, I'd remember his name. His name's Eddie Rosario. Goes to the University of Miami. He throws a 98 to 100 mile an hour 2-seam whippy that runs like 16 inches horizontally. And so it could start on the outer black at 98 and finish on the inner black. You know what I mean? It's just completely unfair. And I think he's draft eligible this year. So that's someone I'd watch out for.
Insane. So all over the place, like Dusty said, I'm going to keep doing that. So you start thinking of pastimes, right? And I think a lot of us, at least at one time in our lives, collected sports cards, right? Now, you being affiliated with the New York Yankees, you are on sports cards. How does that make you feel? You know what I mean? It's almost like, MLB The Show, and you're eventually probably part of that, right? I don't know if they go down to single A. I just play the major league rosters, nerd out here for just a second. But to see yourself on a baseball card, being it, I'm gonna show my age, Upper Deck or Bowman or what? I mean, what does that feel like, man?
To be honest, I don't know if it's really like ever hit me yet. Still, there's a lot of stuff that come along with what I get to do now that I feel like haven't really hit me or haven't really fully appreciated yet. And that might be one of them because it doesn't seem like something that's real. I don't know. I get to see them all the time, and you get them in the mail and you sign them, and it just, I don't know, man. It doesn't seem real at some point.
Crazy. And then so you sign them, and so they send them to you to sign. They're going to throw it in a box of cards, right? And
Yep.
That's just what that process looks like. Sign it, send it back. Life's good.
Sign it, send it back. Life's good. And you take care of our business. We'll take care of ours. And that's it.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. And sports cards right now are just huge. I mean, ever since the pandemic, I don't know if it was starting beforehand, they're out of control when it comes to the cost and value and stuff like that. So does your family collect those? As
much as they can.
Yeah.
They try. We can't really get our hands on them, to be honest. I thought I was supposed to get a handful, and I haven't gotten them yet. So they're really tough to get for my parents. I wish I could get more and give to some family and friends.
How many sheets did they send? So they have the stickers, for the card, where they have some where it's the actual card they send you and you sign the card, but a lot of them, Panini does the sticker and they just peel it and put it on. How many was on that sheet they sent you, Cooper?
I want to say each company was like 6,000 to 8,000 ish.
Yeah.
I think the first one was a little more than that, but
yeah,
it for real, like,
can you talk about, is there any monetary value with that? Is there any financial gain with that stuff?
Yeah, it just depends on the player. Everyone gets, different stuff. But the worst part of it is you'll start cramping on the palm side of your forearm.
Like buying a house is terrible, man.
Yeah.
The 8,000 sheets, man. I can see why like Ezekiel, it went from, Ezekiel Elliott to Eazy-E. I mean, that's what his signature is now, dude. That's nuts.
No, that's why. Because you start cramping on one side of your arm and then all of a sudden the other side goes and you got to shut it down for the day and start massaging yourself. And all you're doing is writing your name.
That's
and
insane,
I'm a memorabilia collector. I'm a big Twins and Chicago Bears guy. So I know like the well-known autographs. I know them very, very well. And I think of myself every day when I'm at work, I'm at the grocery store sending the digital credit card pad. My autograph looks different every freaking time. Like if yours is 6,000, you have to do it 6,000 times over the period of like, I assume a month or 2 weeks, or whatever. It's got to be like way different, like from day to day, I would think, unless it's just me. And people are going to be like, dude, that's not Cooper Bowman's fucking autograph, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to do your best to keep them close. And actually, it's crazy. So if I mess up to a point where they don't realize, like they can't know it's my signature, they actually send it back later. So like they do a screen check of all of them. If there's any that aren't, the right size, or maybe they're a little too messy or whatever, they send them back and I got to do them again. And so you got to do them regardless. You may as well just knock it out the first time and put a little emphasis on it.
All right. In keeping with the theme of all over the place, and I do have Ryan Klapperich sitting right next to me, who is one of the most instrumental coaches you've had in your so far young career? No sweat,
Ryan
no pressure.
Honestly, probably the biggest one in terms of like helping me get ready for the next level was Mark Reardon from Iowa Western, who I kind of talked about earlier. He for real runs a baseball academy, dude, with 18 to 20-year-olds who are, their only goal is to play at the next level, I suppose. And so when you got 30 dudes doing that, 5 coaches that their whole life is helping you do that, it really doesn't even feel like school. Like I said, it feels like a baseball academy, but it couldn't have benefited me any better than it did.
So we phrased the question a little bit different, not maybe a coach, but good sage advice, keep you level-headed, maybe an advisor, a best friend. Does that change it at all? Is it still him?
Yeah, I mean, he does give some crazy advice, and his big thing is he kind of relates it more to life and then lets you relate it to the game in a way. But yeah, just kind of, I think the biggest thing that helped me once I got to the ACC level and above, it's kind of just being where your feet are. It's a game at some point. It is your job and it's your life, but it's also a game. And if you can just be where your feet are and enjoy it, whether you have a 10-year career or a 2-year career, hopefully you're happy at the end of it. So I've kind of tried to keep that into perspective a little.
That's cool. So when it comes to not playing ball, when you're not playing ball, when it's the off season, so what you may, and I'm not asking specifics or anything like that. I know Dusty said we're not going to mention money, and that's fair. But do you have to come back when you're in Rapid are you working, or you don't need to worry about it? There's enough that you got that you make at least, playing ball where you can manage and continue to practice, train, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough where I can, if I want to make a little extra cash, I'll probably start doing that just for something to do. But I'm lucky enough where I kind of put enough aside early on where I don't need to stress about it. But that is a big issue. I know that's one of the issues the guys are fighting right now, is just overall pay to guys not at the top of the league, just to try and help them out a little. So hopefully this little collective bargaining agreement kind of fixes some of that.
Mm-hmm.
When you're down in Tampa right now, then I know you keep talking about your buddies you go golf with, and they're hanging out in your room right now. So you're in your car. Thank you, by the way. Do they pay for your apartment or your home that you're living in then? How does that work?
Yeah, they pay for our apartment, the team housing if you want it. We were looking for other places, but you have to meet so many of these minor league requirements You got to be like a certain distance from the field, have certain amenities furnished, all this stuff that's, all under a certain price. And it's basically impossible to meet in Tampa, obviously different than if I was over in Bradenton or something. So yeah, we just live in the team housing. They pay for that. They pay for 2 meals a day, all your training, any supplements or whatever you need. So they definitely take care of us while we're here.
And that's getting better, right, Coop? I know I follow a lot of the minor league, like the players. And I think in the past 5 years, I think it's really gotten better. Like, I think you're coming in at a good time where that started to be the focus, because I know a lot of organizations like the A's got blown up last year about how poorly they fed and treated their minor league guys. Like, it was all over Twitter, and there's like a whole account set up to bring those things to light. Like, for your meals, like when you get a meal, are you like, yeah, this is a decent meal? Or are you like, what are they feeding us?
No, dude, you're definitely right. It's gotten so much better, and it's much better than obviously colleges are, just from, a financial standpoint. These guys have more money to spend. And at this point it's a job, not, I'm not a student athlete. So they definitely take care of us. And, you have your occasional, like, man, this sucks, but that's almost more of just a preference, or maybe you just don't like that meal. Yeah. But, if you're not a picky eater, you're never upset about it. So they're definitely stepping up on stuff like that.
And Clap, go back kind of what you're saying, man. Can that vary by the organization too? You think A's, small market, Moneyball, right? The movie was based off of them. And then you got the New York Yankees, who, are known to have the deepest pockets.
Juggernaut.
I think it is like organization, because I think, Coop, correct me if I'm wrong, but you'll hear that from guys in different organizations. Like, no, this organization is known to take better care of their minor leaguers. Like, they pay more for housing, they pay better for food. I think they're trying to get it to where it's like an established cost across the board. But I do think certain organizations, and I know Torvey, our head coach at Post 22, even back in the 90s when he was in the big league, said, yeah, there was some, like when he went from the Mets to the Twins, there was a big difference between how he was treated when he was in the Mets organization to the Twins organization.
With your trajectory and everything that you've been through, Cooper, and to get where you are, which is tons of hard work, some, I don't know, luck, being in the right place, right time, those kinds of things. Anything about how you've experienced, anything that you would change? Was there anything you'd go back and do a little differently?
No, I honestly don't think so, just because I think the kind of different path has helped me. I would never not want to go to Iowa Western. I don't think I'd ever not want to go to Louisville. It's just two great programs who've set me up to be lucky enough to get drafted by a great organization. And even back to what Klopp was saying about other minor league teams and how other people are treated. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of guys, traded from here, and you kind of get to talk to them. And it for real sounds like the Yankees are really doing a really good job of treating their minor leaguers right, because, we're the Yankees. You're kind of expected to. The spotlight's on us at all times. And so they got to do a really good job. And from what I've heard is they really do.
The premier organization, and you think of some of the most brands profitable, you think Dallas Cowboys, you certainly think New York Yankees too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what does next year look like? What are the definites in? And if you don't want to get into this, Cooper, I understand too, but so are you under contract with them, or do you have a minor league contract where you're with the New York Yankees for the next 3 years? Yeah, of course you could be traded. You could be part of a blockbuster trade. You know what I mean? Because I think Dansby originally was a Diamondback, wasn't he? And he was part of a blockbuster trade. I don't say what does it look like, but what is next year, right? Are you under their control, for the next 3 years?
Yeah. So as far as where I'm going, obviously I have no say, and at this point, not really sure or a good guess on where I'll be headed affiliate wise. But they have me for the next 6 years. So every minor leaguer or every rookie signs a 6.5, or it's about 6.5 because the draft's in June, year deal where they kind of have you. And so I could be traded tomorrow morning and be sent to Cincinnati or whatever, or I could be here for the next 6 years. You really truly never know. And I wish I could give like better insight, but it for real is kind of a day-to-day thing. Today I'm a Yankee, tomorrow I might not be, but I want to be, Right. And so the players have such little say or understanding in that stuff, because that's mostly business, not so much baseball decisions.
Do you have an agent then that handles your business stuff?
Yep. So yeah, luckily all my focus is on field stuff.
Good. Absolutely. Right on, man.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how often do you talk to your agent? Because Klapperich was just telling me your agent's actually Klapperich talked about this here a couple months ago on the Chusky Boys episode 4 or 5, who your agent was. Give us a quick rundown on who your agent is.
Yeah, so Yankee fans will know the name Billy Martin for sure. Long tenured Yankees manager, won a ton of World Series. My agent is just his son, and it's Billy Martin Jr., just like you'd guess. Great dude, lots of connections, specifically with the Yankees. I know for a fact he helped me get here because he knew I wanted to be here, and he knew it'd be best for me. But yeah, he's his dad's a huge name in baseball, and he's starting to get there. But he's a great dude and does a lot for me.
Who are, not to take a spotlight off of you, but who are some of his other clients? Is he kind of really affiliated with minor leaguers, or has he got some major league talent as well?
We actually don't even talk about that, to be completely honest. I've never asked, and he tells me stories about certain guys, but he never mentions many names or really where they're at. Kind of just more scenario based stories. So I'm not really positive.
There's really 2 agents I know. Okay, 3 if we throw in Scott Boras. Don't want to talk about that. Ari Gold and Arliss Michaels. Okay, those are the 2 agents I'm familiar with. Super agents. Okay.
All right, Coop, let's get on the brass tacks. So my little boy just turned 4 years old last Monday, right? We've had so far in the 4 years a Mr. Wonderful, like O-N-E, wonderful. We've had a Mickey Mouse, a Cars themed, Disney Cars. And this year we had a John Deere tractor theme. So I've loved baseball my entire life, and my hope is he will too. Hopefully he'll be a Twins fan, but I'll let him make that decision for himself. When you're big and powerful and rich, are you still going to come back to Rapid City, and will you come to his birthday party?
I would love to, but it's only if Clapp will start playing golf with me again.
Ooh.
Oh, I'll take care of that.
Couple brewskis, Klapperich, he'll meet you on the what is it, the 9th green at 9 or 8th green at 9?
Yeah, the 9th green at 9 trick. Well, I mean, Coop, you got, like, that's what we were saying. We're hoping. Obviously, I love playing in that Oktoberfest tournament, and, we want Cooper to be on the team for a lot of reasons. He's pretty good at golf, and, I enjoyed hanging out with him and getting to spend that weekend. But the goal, obviously, is for Cooper to be in Arizona Fall League. I keep trying to remind him of that. As cool as it is, I hope he gets that Arizona Fall League invite. But if not, Oktoberfest at Spearfish Canyon's a good plan B.
That's right. Yeah, it's definitely the goal. And I joke about it a lot, but I think I'd have to kind of take that opportunity if it came.
You mentioned, Klapperich, kind of the whole fall league. What does that look like? You said it was invite. So you play the traditional season minor league baseball, and then you can get an invite to a fall league?
Yeah, it's just the Arizona Fall League. It's about a month of games down in Arizona, and about 4 to 6 dudes from each org will get invited, a couple mostly position players, maybe a pitcher or 2, and you'll just team up with 5 different orgs and make one team. And there's probably, I guess, I don't know what the math is on that, 6 or 7 teams maybe. And you just play each other for a month, and it's just kind of get more eyes on you. If you had a good year, if you kind of blew up a little, get a lot of other teams seeing you, get your own team seeing you again, and making a little bit of a name for yourself. So that's a huge goal to be a part of, especially, your 2nd, 3rd, maybe 4th year in the minor leagues.
Right on. Very cool. Is there ever any discussion, and this might be just because of more of their hometown, but a lot of people, they'll go like the Dominican Republic and stuff like that to play. Is that options for you, or not really? Not something that you'd want to do?
Yeah. It happens a lot. A lot of times it's because someone gets hurt. And so maybe they get hurt and miss a lot of the season, or miss the whole season, or whatever the case may be. And just to get more at bats, they go down there. But, ideally I would like to spend my off seasons in the weight room and relax, and maybe not playing more games.
Sure. You mentioned injury. Oren Marcel Azuna's case for the Atlanta Braves, arrested and suspended for the entire year. But I get what you're saying. I mean, potato, whatever.
Yep. Right.
So, Coop, now you went from Rapid, Iowa, Louisville. Now you're down to, in minor league baseball, which is insane to be where you're at. 1 in a million, probably. What's the difference between, coming up in that progression, those stages for the weight room and the supplements and the things that you can do? Like, how often do you play baseball during spring training versus how often are you in a weight room? Do you have a nutritionalist? What does that look like?
Yeah. To be honest, as you go up in levels, and I first started noticing it probably at Iowa Western, more so at Louisville, and now it's every, direction you look, but everyone just gets a little better around you. You know what I mean? And so you got to find little ways to kind of get an advantage over dudes, if you will. And for me, one of a huge, like the biggest one, I guess, has been the weight room. Just getting stronger, getting more durable, faster, whatever the case may be. But then, you get to pro ball and everyone's really strong, everyone's really fast. So then you got to start finding different ways. And like you kind of mentioned with nutritionists, we have nutritionists who are always available, and they're kind of harping on you to take your creatine and your BCAAs and protein, whatever it may be. So yeah, I mean, the more you can stay on top of that, obviously the more advantage you have to stay healthy and durable for the season. But in terms of baseball to weight room, I mean, we're in the weight room every day. So I'd honestly say maybe 50-50 at this point in time. And obviously during the season, it's a lot more games than weight room, but the off season is all about perfecting your body and perfecting your craft. And it gets to the point where you got to make, this small of an adjustment or get this much better to move up a level. It's not like you're reinventing the wheel here. You're trying to find every little way to get better when everyone's this good around you.
And I think Coop, like with the nutrition side, I still to our guys get on them about, and you remember me getting on them in the dugout about how they eat and what they put in their body. Like I remember like Coop would come and this dude would have peanut butter, honey, and banana sandwiches with like almond bark, like pretzel type, all these like healthier snacks. And then you get like his teammates are coming back with like 6 chili dogs and like a walking taco. And I'm like, there's a reason this dude, like you guys, it's 100 degrees. You're about to go play. And I swear baseball's the only sport where you're about to go like perform at the highest level and you eat a chili dog and a Snickers before you go do it. Like
that's Chusky lifestyle right there. We appreciate it. I'm glad now you didn't in the Heinz, when you come to my kid's birthday party and a starting shortstop for the Yankees is me pretty freaking cool. But in hindsight, living that Chusky lifestyle, man, you clap. Come on, let those kids alone.
Sacrifices are made. Mistakes have been made. I don't see what the problem is. One thing that really disappointed me, and I'm taking it back. This is a throwback back to Canyon Lake. You know what I mean? And I was part of Bandit Ball and then Rushmore Little League. And my kid played last year, first year. And they don't do the hot dog after the game. I was like my soul. Like I was disappointed that was no longer a part of at least Little League here, that you get a hot dog after the game. Not for me, but for him. It was the experience. Play hard, get a hot dog, get a drink and some chips or whatever. And they're like, yeah, they don't do that anymore. What the hell?
Dude, and I played at Bandit Ball and Rushmore too. The best is back then, Coop, you wouldn't know this, but we didn't even get Powerades. They gave us all sports. It was like pop that they called a sports drink. It was like a hot dog and an all sport. That's how
that. Times are tough.
Times are
tough.
That's that west side of town. It's like a different state, man. It is what it is, right? Right on. So Cooper, we talked a little bit of everything, a little bit of that. We're all over the place. Let's be real, man. Anything else you want to let the thousands of fans, and we say that very we lie about it. We don't really have that many fans. We're still growing.
When Cooper shares his podcast, we're going to grow exponentially. I might even be able to quit my job.
That's right. Fingers crossed.
What else? Anything else? Like anything else on the horizon? Anything crazy going on? It's awesome to hear that you still come back to Rapid City, South Dakota, dude. You know what I mean? You think like Adam Vinatieri and stuff. And I think I can't remember where he makes his home now. But I know a couple years ago he did a presentation at the Civic Center. That was kind of cool to see him come back, but this isn't home anymore. For you, it still is, which of course can change.
Right.
But I would say I'd play a round of golf with you, but it sounds like you guys are pretty competitive and I'm no good. And I remember going golfing with Dusty for it was his bachelor party. It was kind of an all day thing. And Dusty, you weren't that good either. Scotty,
my ball actually, I think it hit a car on the highway and I had to duck out for the rest. I had to miss like half my bachelor party. I ain't fucking paying for that window.
We've all been there. I get it.
Well, Coop, we've done it all. We've said it all, man. Congratulations, dude. Where I work, we've got a digital billboard in my parking lot on La Crosse Street. And for weeks and weeks, I had your name up there and drafted 122nd. So it's like just a lot of hometown pride, man. We take a lot of pride being from South Dakota. I know I've lived here most of my life. JR, I think, has lived here all of his life. I think you've lived here most of your life too, if not all your life. Like it's pretty damn cool to be a baseball fan these days. Let's face it, NFL is huge. NBA is big. Baseball is big. It's our pastime. It's not as big as the other two, but I've been a baseball guy more than any other sport. So just to see a kid coming up, especially coming through Canyon Lake, where I coached for 5 years with my buddy Scott, it's just awesome to see, man. So hats off to you, dude. Thanks so much for giving us your time, jumping on tonight, telling us what it's like. Give us the last couple of words for all of our fans and your fans out there.
Yeah, man, I just really appreciate it. And that's why I make rap at home still, because there's just so much support no matter where you go. I get support from even across the street with the 320 guys, you know what I mean? And so it's just a big community that I like to be a part of. And I'm just excited to get back whenever I can.
To be as humble as you still are, man, that is awesome to hear. And I'm just not gonna lie, I got the one screen where I'm visiting with you and Dusty and Klapperich, and then the other I'm surfing eBay for some of your baseball cards. So just
there you
FYI.
go. Good. Find some. I've been looking too.
If you're not gonna have them, I'm gonna have them, and I'll have you sign it because an on-card auto is always better than the damn stickers.
There we go. Anytime.
I'm gonna have Clap hit you up when you're back, buddy. I'm looking for. I got a whole garage. You gotta come over sometime. Dude. I got a whole garage full of autograph shit. It's pretty awesome. So love to add a couple of your things in there.
Yeah, no, anytime. I'm pretty sure Clap doesn't have my number saved anymore.
Shut up.
I never hear from the guy, but yeah, I'm sure we can.
Shame, man. What's going on?
Like, isn't that how we got your number though?
Yeah, dude. Stop. All right. I give you plenty of attention. Okay.
Oh,
he acts like he's busy.
Have you honestly, have you listened to the podcast, his episode at least?
No, I actually haven't.
I do, because he had nothing but good things to say about you. You came up multiple times, dude. So check it out. And I think it's worth a listen.
I just don't tell him that. I don't want him to get a big head, so I keep him grounded.
All right, so we got a pop quiz for you. We'll end you with this, dude, so you can get back to some of that college basketball. I'm sure Dusty's got a parlay he's got to be looking at right now. I'm kind of stick to the hockey bets, to be honest. I bet the pucks right now. Usually Sundays are exciting with football, but it's kind of depressing right now, of course, with MLB. So it's not a trick question. This is not. Dusty, you want to kick it off, or you want me to kick it off?
It's pretty simple, really. Coop, if you're not chubby
and you're not husky,
what the hell are you?
You're Chusky.
You goddamn right, you're Chusky. First try.
Not only a goddamn world-class athlete, he's a freaking genius. That's the first person who's ever gotten that.
You are an honorary member of the Chusky Boys, dude. Yes, your body does not represent it whatsoever. Probably like a 3% body fat. I don't want to talk about me. I know Dusty doesn't want to talk about him. But dude, thank you so much, man. This has been a blast spending some time with us, and we hope to see you. We're going to keep track of you, dude. I'm serious. I'm going to get some of your sports cards, and I know you're part of New York Yankees, but that doesn't matter, dude. Rapid City, being from Rapid City trumps all, dude. Right.
I appreciate that.
Good luck this season, brother.
All right. Thanks. You guys have a good one.
Go to bed, Coop.
Later. Come on, man. See you guys.
See you, buddy.
That's it. That's a wrap. Episode 17 in the books. Mr. Hirsch, any last words?
Peace.